We have a meeting with another castoff. Cave of Last Words.
Who are you?
Hello, companion. Theme music, spoken dialogue. Pretty much a guaranteed companion. This woman's skin is white, the color of alabaster or fresh ivory. Flat black eyes surrounded by sharply pointed features stare coldly at you. She wears jet black hair cut straight at the shoulders. Her clothes are functional and drab. Her cloak is fastened by a necklace of 5 canisters, each of different shape. She turns a black device over and over in her hands.
Where did you come from? How did you know where to find me?
Her startled expression becomes a dark glower. A keen blade flickers through her fingers. You're sure it wasn't there a moment ago. Callisted leans in close to you. I wouldn't have thought it possible. But it appears we have found someone even more paranoid than poor Alliger. Is it really that important to know how I found you? Yes, because I need to know how to stop it from happening again. And if it means cutting some throats, it's no worse than I've done before. Like I'll do to... Wait. No, you're a castoff. That wouldn't work. The knife disappears as quickly as it appeared. Her hand steals out and picks up that strange device again, almost of its own accord. Loading period, for some reason. She glances at your tattoo. How new are you? What were the circumstances of your birth? When did you happen? I was born as my body fell from an exploding moon. I think that's a safer thing to say than to say where we crash landed. I don't want to lie to her. I want information out of her. If she can detect that I lie, I think it'll basically sour the relationship immediately. I was born as my body fell from an exploding moon. That bastard of a creator always finds a way to abandon us at the worst possible moment. Have you heard the stories of Puck or Inifir yet? You should. What of them? She points her chin at your companions. If you think you can overpower we mortals, you're mistaken. Oh, she is fascinating, isn't she? A wicked smile crosses Callistage's lips. What did you say? You're trespassing in my home, you know. Coming with a castoff makes you more suspicious, not the other way around. Trust me. I don't want to even pretend that she would trust us. Given everything I've heard about you, I felt I needed the help. Flattery. You're wasting your breath. But fine. She flicks her hand and the knife disappears. Disemboweling you would just be a waste of time for me anyway. She turns back to her workbench and picks up the device again. Then she spits on the floor and scuffs it with her boot, all nervous energy. So, what do you want from me? Why exactly are you hiding down here anyway? I'm not hiding. Her rage is quick, hot and palpable, and something about it makes your vision dim for a moment. I'm strategizing, planning. Why would someone live voluntarily in a place like this? He gestures around her as her eyes break contact with you. Her emotion leaks from her frame. This is where I stay. It's a bolt hole, always has been, for those who know where to find it. Even Sheila hid here, they say. Uh, so what exactly are you planning? I'm not sure if I want to go there immediately. It's not really why I'm talking to her. Um, I'm investigating some murders in the underbelly. Someone said that they thought it was your work.
Making a note.
I've killed lots of people. Lots. In the underbelly, though. I don't I don't think so. Do you want someone killed? She pauses. No, wait. I could tell you, but my mind won't let me. I don't remember if I were whole again. Uh, yeah, everyone seems to have this particular problem, apparently. I mean, the cast-offs. Um, maybe it's tied to the other thing. I mean, she's basically not telling us anything. Right. What are you planning? I'll go through the other options simply because I want to see how could I get her to help me. Oh, were you part of my plan? You weren't. It's not your business. Okay, can you tell me anything about the other cast-offs? Self-absorbed, treacherous, leave a trail of misery and suffering. Shall I continue? Also powerful, scheming, ambitious. Her smile is crooked and quick. But you want names, don't you? She barks a laugh that's half a sob. You won't get them from me, though. Not now. I remember Adiris. I remember the first. I remember Tosh, and I killed Tosh for what he did to me. For the hole he cut in my memory. But that hole grew and grew and... Her eyes flicker, and her cold gaze returns to you. This is more than you need to know. They're bastards, all of them. You as well. Yeah, she basically won't tell us anything, and the dialogue are not going anywhere. So it's all tied to the resonance chamber. So I heard you might know who can repair a device I found in the reef. Something called a resonance chamber. The resonance. A glint of understanding shines in her eyes. Ah, yes, of course, he would have hid it there. A crooked grin plays about the corner of her mouth and then vanishes. I know who can help you. Or did. She shakes her head. It slips away. My mind has holes in it. Tash took a rusty scalpel to my thoughts, my memories. I can't... She trails off. She catches hold of the table and it seems to anchor her. Her eyes harden.
I'll remember that.
No, no, you must do something for me. She caresses the black and jagged device, knobbed and protruding with antenna. A sigil reminiscent of your tattoo is emblazoned on it. This is Tash's Mirrorcaster. I want you to enter his mirror and find out what you can about the jug. I'm convinced that's the key. What is a Mirrorcaster? Am I really the first one to say the word to you? Oh, you are in for a surprise, dear brother. Every cast-off has one, just like every cast-off has this. He taps the tattoo on your head. No one knows what they're for. Adiris used to think they were a byproduct of the transfer process just like us. She seems lost in thought for a moment. Then she shakes her head. Whatever they come from, they can be used like a kind of temporal viewer. You relive an event in the life of the cast-off whose mirrorcaster it is. That event is called a mirror. Can a mirrorcaster be used to spy on other cast-offs? Not spy, more like seeing pictures of the past, like watching them from inside their minds at times when they burned or raged or changed, when their life was at a moment of flux. Why can't you do it? Don't you think I've tried? She snarls with sudden rage, her knife in a handspan from your neck. Do you think I would waste my time with a newborn, a thief who steals into my own home, if there were any chance I could do it myself? Her shoulders heave up and down with each angry breath. I try and my mind fills with static, like I'm talking to a murden, only it slashes and stabs and burns me and... She blinks then, confused. Why am I angry? Did you... She straightens, flipping the knife back into her cloak. No, it'll all be right. Just find the damn Jack, and I'll tell you whatever you need to know. Okay, what is a Jack? Jahk. You... you don't know? I thought it was a common instrument. No, no, it might not be so much anymore. One of the curses of a long life. She laughs raggedly. Passions come and go before you even know they exist. Probably easier just to let them go, or make new ones of your own, like some of the other castoffs. Sorry, no, not sorry. You should know this. You should know about things, history. That's what life is, knowing and doing. Matkina, you need to focus. Tell him what he needs. She breathes deeply. A jack is an ancient woodwind, and this one was kept in a sealed cave behind a massive door from a prior world. It had powers, but I can't remember what those powers were. If the jack is a key, what does it unlock? Her brow furrows, confused for a moment. She curses. If I knew that, I wouldn't need your help, would I? He lets out a long sigh. He stole that memory from me, all right? If you can find it for me, it will all come back, all of it. So how do I enter a mirror? An almost palpable hunger fills her eyes, a yearning. Hold the Mirrorcaster. You feel the tug immediately. Don't resist. Empty your mind and let the tides pull you into the Mirrorcaster. She collects herself. Then just watch him. Watch for the jug. When you see what he's done with it, pull your mind away from Tasha's and tell me what you saw. Oh, and don't try to change anything, he says almost as an afterthought. And why shouldn't I try to change anything in the mirror? What did you mean by that? Nothing serious, she says it as though speaking to an overly concerned child. She laughs suddenly. It's not like you can change the past, but I need you to learn a specific piece of information. If you change something, then you might go the wrong way. Don't really understand. I thought it was like a video recording of someone reliving basically some event, but this seems to imply that I actually can play as the character and make different choices. But so maybe see a potential outcome depending on the choice you make. I'd like to ask something else about the Mirrorcaster, but I don't have an option. Can you re-enter it over and over again? Play the same scenario? I would assume no, because it is a game, but so the choices we make probably are the choices we are gonna have to live with. I don't see an option. We need her to give us the name of the guy who knows about the resonance chamber, and we also need her to get forward with the murder thing. So I'll do it. She plucks Tasha's Mirrorcaster from the table. She looks at it, at you, and back at the device. She licks her lips as if weighing her options, and then, before she can hesitate anymore, slaps it into your hands. It is surprisingly heavy. Do it, she says, her voice heavy. Find the jack. Bring me my answers. You focus on the device and you feel something tugging at your mind. Huh? Did a text adventure, like in Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity has certain type of challenges where you will read text and make choices in the text, and you get different results based on your abilities and your choices. Sort of like a mini adventure within the game. I'm assuming this is sort of the same at least, because we have our stats pools here, so they don't make much sense unless we can actually utilize them. Okay, everything is wrong. The text adventure probably is actually quite similar, because in Pillars of Eternity the text adventures aren't like they absolute failure and absolute success. What they usually mean is uh, basically the end results would be between negative consequences, but you get to the end, versus positive consequences and you get to the end. So it's like if you would have to take a trip that and you have some kind of a challenge text adventure, it's not between are you going to success in the trip or not. It's between are you going to have a are you going to come to the destination safely and in short time, or are you going to have a lot of negative consequences, maybe injure yourself, take a longer time to get to the end and so forth. So there is variation, but it's not between success and failure. Everything is wrong. Hash's body, yours now, clings like a wet cloak. The world is too bright for nighttime. Everything is too clear, distances too close, edges too sharp. Memories like blood flies buzz about your head, whizzing away before you can catch them. Hard-ridden Anine heave their flanks and huff behind you. Like you, they've been too long without rest. And there's Matkina, a much newer Matkina, as drawn by a pandering portress, too soft, too fresh, too pretty, all wrong. On the waves you see the light of campfires, and in the humble village before you a bigger, brighter fire burns. Right, it's a text adventure. It's a pyre. Inside, a body that's too large burns too slowly. Greasy coils of smoke rise into the night. Villagers circle the bonfire, wailing and shaking. The headman's rough voice continues the ritual. From exile, you are released. Among the mourners, same echo. You are released. He throws a handful of powder into the fire, metal salts perhaps, and a spray of shining embers rises into the night, mostly gold, some green, some purple. From wrath, you are released. They echo him. As the embers float out toward the plains and fade among the stars and campfires, you hear Matkina whisper reverently, "You are released." Okay, what are our options? Matkina, listen to me. We need to find the Jack and protect your memories. Okay, I don't think that's what we want to go with. Matkina said go with the flow, I suppose, more or less. So don't try to diverge too much from what happened. I think trying to do that would be exactly what we aren't supposed to do. Go with the flow. Don't try to fuck things up. Yeah. Try to remember who you are and why you're here. The memories buzz, and in the sounds are flickers of meaning. This body is. You are Hash. You're a soldier under the command of someone named Haj Reken. You're a castoff who can use the tides to destroy memories. You were sent here for some thing, an object, but exactly what you can't recall. So that has to be the Jack. There's something more to it, something insistent, important, and endlessly elusive. No matter how hard you try, it becomes no clearer. Okay, so I suppose the goal for us is to find the Jack. Stare at the distant campfires and try to see what they are. Perception. Yeah. I don't want to spend my points here. I don't have too many. In case I have to do some kind of a persuasion check. I'll just save my points. Success. You squint your unnatural eyes and focus until at the pyre, the village, and everything else fades away. At last the blurry campfires resolve into something crisper, and you see the faint shadows of men around them, men in long coats and broad hats, painstakingly cleaning their jezails and daggers. There are perhaps 100 of them. Matkina sees you staring and grunts, "Sand knights!" From her tone, it's obvious they're no friends of hers, or yours. What's going on here, Matkina? Matkina answers without looking your way. Her eyes are locked on the fire and the flesh inside it. It's what they do when one of the hill people dies. Never a burial, always upward. Plains people like me, we can bring kindling and weep, but we're forbidden to join the chant. After a pause, she adds, I never got used to the smell of it. Even when they burn juniper or balsam, it's worse at the end. When it's done, there's no more wailing. For them, it really is a release. He looks thoughtful, but says no more. Barred in the ritual. No. Wait until the ritual is finished. As the body burns and the mourners chant, you wait in the shadows at the edge of the village. At last, the corpse is consumed and the headman gives a final cry. To the distant dark, you are released. The villagers echo him, then drift away, leaving him alone beside the smoldering pyre. Matkina, with a hiss and a gesture, leads you over. He sniffs the air at the sound of your approach, and with a broad smile calls out, Kina! His eyes are large, milky marbles. He puts hands on her shoulders. You return in unpleasant times. She touches his cheek. I return because the times are unpleasant, Neng. Without another word, the three of you leave from the fire and enter Neng's dark hut. Yeah, Kina is the woman, right? Matkina, right? Neng's home is humble and small, hardly furnished and wholly undecorated. On On entering, he lowers his weary bulk onto the hassock and gestures toward similar cushions for you and Matkina, then begins without preamble. They hung him from a tree, old Gareb. Took their daggers to him, called it pruning. Blind to others' expressions, he has become oblivious to his own, and he wears his pain and anger nakedly. With a grunt he continues. They sent him home by skimmer, along with the compact they made to the plains people. He waves at the crumpled sheet of paper on the floor. Take credit to me. They promised to put an end to our menace, Kina. He shakes his head. Why? We've always paid the blood price for whatever harm we've done. You know that. They know that. Yes, Matkina says softly. But the Sand Knights won't take shins. Do you know that? The militia's here to help, Neng. You are who we stand for. The small, the threatened, the hunted. That's who we are too. She takes his hand. Come away. If you tell the knights you're going, they won't force a fight. They have bigger battles ahead of them, believe me. This is our place, Kina. Hush reckon we'll give you a home. Trust her. Neng is silent. We can try intimidation and persuasion here. Read the crumpled note. You unfold the compact sent by the Sand Knights. The writing is neat, plain, small, and seems to go on and on in tightly stacked lines. In essence, it is a vow of to safeguard the villages and towns of the bare Xulian waste from the menace in Calm Village. The knights promise that they will undertake steps to assure that the killers in Calm Village never harm anyone again. Extermination is never mentioned, merely implied. Beneath the knight marshal's chop are signatures from various burghers, mayors, and elders of towns and villages on the ways. The knights ask nothing in return from them. The signature vow nothing. They merely endorse justifying whatever the knights undertake. What happened to your eyes? Matkina gives you a hard look, but Neng merely shrugs. An accident, long forgotten. He rubs the blind orbs with his thick, grubby fingers, then shakes his head. It is a smaller thing than you might think. Do I want to try persuasion? You don't need to trust Paj Reken, just trust Kina. Nen cocks his head. Nen cocks his white head. Why would I doubt her? He smiles. There was a plains child, a beautiful boy, wandered too far into the waste and was gone. We all gave him up, but Kina, he puts his hand on her shoulders. She left that night with a knife and a lamp and a rope. Just said, I'll bring him back. Hardly spoke back then, our Kina. She sighs. Made things easier. Right. Week later she comes back, the boy riding her shoulders, a string of Chirac heads dragging behind her. He fixes his blind eyes upon you. When she speaks, I trust. But even if Padre Ken sets land aside for us, we can't just leave. It's not so simple. These people can't understand. What is it that we can't understand? For a long moment, Neng turns his blind gaze back and forth between you and Matkina. What it means to be a hill person. What it's like to wrap yourself in chains every day. But maybe I'm an old fool. You're not the Kina who left, and you, stranger, you're a soldier. Maybe you've started to understand what it's like to hold yourself back. Matkina's answer is sharp. Neng, all of my life I had to restrain myself, but not in the militia. It's freedom, Neng. The freedom of knowing that what you're doing is right and so you don't need to hold back. The old man shrugs. Then I was right. You can't understand. Should I try the persuasion? I'm not exactly sure what my goal here is. I need someone to mention that ja. Suppose I should try to persuade him. I'll take the 75% chance to 55. 75 sounds good enough. Neng nods slowly. Oh, right, of course. Even if you've got the manners of a mark marauder. After a minute, he turns his blind eye to Matkina. But we can't go without the jock. The what? Up the hill behind the gate. The cave's been sealed for generations. Inside is the jock. It's what helps us keep our worst instincts inside. If we leave it so, he trails off, gesturing to the pyre outside. After a pause, he leans in, whispers in Matkina's ear. Now, you alone of the plains people know how to open the gate. You work your way up the terraced hillside, leaving Ning to make his case to his people. In the distance, you see that the Sand Knights are on the move, riding hard toward Calm Village. Nin will need to make his case to them too. When you arrive at the cave and its huge ancient gateway, Matkina shakes her head. For years I wondered about this. The hill people tell a fable that the first men and women came out of here. They said the gate would only open when it was time for people to disappear. One way to keep kids from poking around and disturbing the jug, I guess. Something she said stirs your mind, and your memories jingle like a wind chime. Try to dredge up the memory that is troubling you. 50-50 chance. I'll take 75 chance. Just 7%. At once, a glaring light shines over your mission, as painful as it is revealing. You are not here to help Paj Reken save Calm Village. You are here to help Paj destroy it. She knew the villagers' secret, knew about the jog. Most importantly, she knew the Sand Knights would come, knew about their pact. The plan isn't to take the villagers out of the Knights' way. In fact, it depends on causing the very battle Matkina promised would be averted. When the Knights arrive, Paj will destroy the jog, forcing the hill people into their feral state, unleashing them upon the Knights, weakening one of the militia's foes. And Paj is coming in person to see that all goes right. Yeah, I guess these are one of those. Are you going to diverge from the path or not? Our entire purpose was to get the jack. I'm going to go with the. I don't. I haven't. I have every reason to go with the intended plan, and no reason to diverge from it. So I'm not going to. What exactly are these hill people, Matkina? My family. Matkina sighs and taps her foot impatiently, impatient with herself, it seems, because she soon rushes forward. The Aeon priest named them the Teratomorphs, but they don't use that name or any other. They've lived here, on this hill, for ages. They protect any plains people who sought shelter in Calm Village. She swallows, closes her eyes, and makes a decision. They're not human. Sometimes they change, go wild. Usually it happens to the young, the old. The people in the villages call it skin changing, and they call the hill people monsters. She shakes her head. It passes and they change back, but sometimes they leave the village and never turn back. They lose control. People get hurt. With a protective edge in her voice, she finishes. Family. That's what they are. Family. People. They stir toward the gate. After you. Matkina shrugs and quickly disarms the dozen ancient locks that have long kept the cavern sealed. With a gasp, the gate opens, and without waiting, she steps through. You follow. What you find within is no cave tunnel. In fact, there's no stone at all. Rather, it's a smooth hallway made of greenish phosphorescent ceramic. Under its glow, you and Matkina take on the look of the unburied dead. There seems to be no side passages, no chambers, merely a single path that curls ever inward, like you are in the shell of some great nautilus. From time to time the walls are adorned with lifeless ciphers, arcane charts, and even scorch marks as if from a struggle. They tell no tale for you to hear. At last you reach the tunnel's end, and there on a pedestal before you is what must be the jug. Kind of reed flute that plays an endless, formless song, at once almost too faint to hear and too haunting to bear. Whether that music is caused by the breeze blowing through the tunnel or by the jug itself, it's impossible to determine. The ceramic pedestal beneath it, alone of all the devices in the cave, still pulses with living energy. That energy causes the jug to float a fraction of an inch in the air. It doesn't rest on the pedestal so much as hang above it. So, here it is. What do you think this place is? It could be anything. You're the one who always says a person will go crazy trying to understand the world. But from the way she holds a little breath in as she ends the sentence, it's clear that she can't stop there. Crazy or not, she wants a meaning to it. I think the hill people must have come from here, or maybe come through here. But we're not here to find answers, we're here to get that. She points at the jug. Examine the jug and its pedestal. While the jug and the wistful wind-blown notes is what you came for, it is the pedestal that draws your attention first. Hidden within, some secret mechanism holds the jug aloft, untouched and motionless. As you ponder its workings, you notice something else, a trap. Nestled below the jug is a serrated ring, and tiny ugly bolts of energy leap from tooth to tooth, ready to surge in if their field is disturbed. As for the I suppose our lore skill revealed that. I wonder what all interesting things you miss if you don't take lore skills and perception. And what's the consequence of getting hit by the trap in a story like this? As for the jock, you get the sense that there is more than the music to mere wind over pipes, not just tones beyond your hearing range, but that perhaps forces beyond sound itself, a deeper harmony that resonates in more than the tiny bones of the inner ear. Disarm trap, cracked. Okay, disarm trap. Chances aren't great, but I think we can basically waste most of our points here. I'll say one for a rainy day. The pedestals we really need to rest after this. I've been putting it off for too long. The pedestal's machinery is alien and wholly novel to you, but that is true of nearly every cipher and artifact in the Ninth World. The key is to stop grasping for the familiar and to stop seeking an underlying logic, and simply to accept the thing before you on its own terms. With a hard eye and a delicate touch, you tame the device and disarm its trap. The jug stops floating and bangs twice, first against the pedestal and then against the ceramic floor. But Kina shakes her head in mock disgust and picks it up. We've got what we wanted, she says, then gestures back down the way you came. Let's go. They're waiting for you at the gate. A woman you immediately know to be Paj Reken and her bodyguard, a half-dozen tattooed castoffs with drab armor, mismatched weapons, and a languid readiness of predators. Past them, in the village below, you see the Sand Knights have arrived and are meeting with Nen and the villagers. Without warning, one of the bodyguards lowers his weapon at Matkina and fires. But she's already moving and takes a glancing blow. A knife is in her hand as another glaive aims a new device. Before Matkina can fling her blade, she's frozen, trapped in shimmering energy. Hush herself aims a tiny cipher at the jug. The others watch, paying you little mind. Do nothing. This is all according to plan. Hodge gives you a slight knowing smile. Then she activates the cipher she is holding in her hand, and a thin beam shoots forth. The jug simply disintegrates. I was wondering when you'd showed up. Hodge smiles and points skyward, where something like a mirage ripples in the sky, barely visible even to your extraordinary eyes. A cloaked airship. We've been here almost a day, waiting for you. Watching Paja's smile and your easy banter from inside her shimmering prison, Matkina seems ready to burst with rage, but she can do nothing but stare with a look that promises murder. Now what? Now you wipe Matkina's mind, we release her and see if she finds her way home to us, where she belongs. That should be within your power, within Tash's power anyway. When the tide surges through him, he can destroy memories, the same way you used the tides to escape the sorrow in your mind. But for all you become accustomed to wearing his body, You feel no special attunement to the tides, no sense of power over others' memories. In fact, within this mirror, you hardly feel the tides at all. Hmm, should I try it? Let's try to wipe Matkina's memories. You have no idea how to wield the tides as Tard would. Indeed, no idea how to wield them at all. The tides have worked through you, not vice versa. And here in this alien body, you have no greater mastery. The best you can do is focus your mind and gaze upon Matkina, willing a way to wipe her memories clean. She meets your stare, and her eyes have a clarity and half vacancy that you've seen, that Tash has seen before she kills. She's past anger now and come to cold revenge. But whatever wishes lie behind your gazes, nothing is happens. No rush of tides, no shattering of the field that keeps her bound. You fail. You cannot wipe her memories. Hush looks at you impatiently. This is not the time for dallying or playing games, Tash. We need to leave before the Sand Knights finish with the villagers and turn their guns on us. Deception. Fine, I'll do it. I'll, yeah, 85% chance of success. Though you are not entirely sure how Tash has wielded the tides in the past, any bluff will need Matkina's help to work. You approach her and stand so that your faces almost touch, but for the energy field between you. You close your eyes and contort your face with unexerted effort. Whether your pantomime is convincing or Pash simply cannot contemplate such a bold ruse, it seems your trick is working. Whisper to Matkina to play along. There's no fucking way I can just set her free. There's like a dozen guys in this image already waiting for her with weapons drawn. She's just gonna get just gang bang. Whether she reads your lips or intuits your intent, Matkina does her part. First she goes rigid and her face becomes a rictus of agony, and then she slumps, as if drugged against the energy field. It bulges slightly to hold her upright. Good, says Pudge. Leave her. We'll see if our lost Tremulan returns to the flock. He returns to the battle in the village below. Neither side has the upper hand, and between the monstrous hill people and the cornered knights, no quarter is given and no effort is made to avoid collateral damage. It is carnage, no more, no less. It's time to go home, Ash says. The airship awaits. He leads her bodyguards away, plainly expecting you to follow. Is there room for some villagers in the airship? To even save a few would prove weren't liars. I don't know if I want to even try that. I mean, I have no intelligence points, and if it would fail, I'm not sure if there's any negative consequence to that, but I don't think our character would try that. I want to stay to help the village. Oh, give me a break. Follow Podge onto the airship. You stand with Podge at the prow of her airship looking down at the convulsing village. The Sand Knights, the 30 or so still standing, finally have the upper hand. They move in a defensive square, hurling burning brands into any buildings still standing and unleashing a full fusillage on whatever emerges. Only a few of the monstrous hill people still live, skulking in the smoke among the rubble. You can see them from your vantage. Perhaps they'll kill more Sand Knights before the battle's down. But whatever the final tally, it's clear that Calm Village is gone. On the hill, trapped for now in the energy field, is Matkina. her mind and life saved, her will for revenge unabated. Tasha's face is stoic as she looks down from the ship. Perhaps without your preternatural eyes, she can avoid seeing the individuals ground up by her gambit and can see only a strategic point and the numbers it presents in the grand strategy. Or perhaps she has simply learned to set an example to her subordinates in the militia. She sees you staring at her and gives a small smile, a generous one, if it's real, devoid of irony or cruelty. "I'm proud of you," she says, and then she walks away to her cabin to plan some new battle. As she does, Tasha's body slips away. His mind lets go of your own. You are falling through space once more, through space and time, falling homeward.
I'm ready to learn something new.
100 XP. As your consciousness rises from the shadow of the mirror, something clicks in your mind. Something has changed deep inside you, but what? Matkina stares at you, the shock painfully obvious on her face. What? What did you do? I remember Tash cutting me. I see holes in my mind. I remember him forcing me to the ground, tearing out my history with his tides. But I have other memories now. They're real. Tash didn't do it. He could have, but he didn't. He saved me, boarded the vessel, and didn't touch me. Didn't violate me with his mind. I remember him touching me. He holds her head in her hand, shaking, her voice becoming thick. The two strands of memory. This is pulling me apart. She looks up at you, tears streaming down her cheeks. No, it's pulling me back together. I remember now. That hole it's almost gone. You changed reality. You changed it. She stands, drying her tears with her sleeves. I don't know if you meant to do that, but you've done more than your part of the deal. You asked about the resonance chamber? I know it. Mazov's the guy you want. He can fix anything. He might have even helped design the chamber you're talking about. Your best bet is to look for him in the castoff sanctuary, Neil Abyss. There's a castoff sanctuary? It's a sanctum, a refuge, created by the First and our sire. It's shielded from the sorrows, supposedly. Our siblings like to hide there until they can't stand each other's company anymore. Where can I find it? Word of caution, they won't believe you in Mil Abyss. They'll treat you as they treat every new castoff, a pawn in their games with each other. Look out for that. He walks to her table and unrolls a map of the Sagus Protectorate. You're not going to find it by walking there. The entrance is a secret, known only to our kind. Here, she points to a spot on the map, many kilometers to the northeast of Sagus Cliffs. The Valley of Dead Heroes. There's a hidden portal in the necropolis. Also memorize this. He writes the numbers 3431 down on a slip of paper, holds it in front of your eyes for several seconds, then crumbles it in her hand. It's a code. It'll make sense when you get to the necropolis. Well, I'll take your word for it. 3431. I don't know if we actually have to remember it, but I'll write it down just in case. You'll need an airship to get to the valley. The ladder over there leads up to the caravanserai. You should be able to hire a ship without too much difficulty. Okay. Can I ask the other questions
I'll
now?
remember that.
Level ups for all. Fine. What do you want? I'm investigating some murders in the underbelly. Someone said they thought it was your work. Who said that? Him? She jerks a finger at Tybir. I hope you're not taking forensic advice from this callow glass. I know his reputation, if not his person, and I wouldn't trust him. I have no idea what I've done to offend such an estimable person, Tybir replies loftily, and I made no such a suggestion. I'm simply accompanying my friend here. Out of the goodness of your heart? But I've heard about you, that seems unlikely. He turns back to you.
I'll remember that.
I haven't killed anyone in the underbelly for years. There's no money in it, no fear. He crosses her arms. I've got a style, a reputation to maintain. He pauses. But if you've found any clues at the scene, let me know. I admit I'm curious who would do a job in that hole. I did find a clue in the underbelly murders. A circle containing a triangle bearing a bleeding eye, with another triangle breaking the circle from the right.
I'll remember that.
She shudders. The children of the Endless Gate, a splinter sect of the Dendra Horde, both of them gifts to the world from our beloved siblings. The Dendra are mostly harmless, disgusting as they are, worthless as their creator is. They have a chapel in the underbelly. Go talk to them. Okay. What's the story with you and the other castoffs? She gives you a long, slow look. You were in the mirror. You saw what happened. I wanted to make a difference, and they pissed on my hopes. After that debacle, I killed Tash and fell out with the rest of them. The conflict between the first and the changing god swallows all our siblings, one way or another. I didn't want that. I wanted to make my own way. They weren't pleased, and here I am, no worse for the lack of their company. Who's the first? The first cast-off. She was, or she claimed to be. She's dead now. She said she'd fight for all of us. They say she was the one who founded Miel Abyss for our sakes. Most of our siblings remember her as a hero. Matkina spits in the corner. Most of them never actually knew her. She was driven, I'll give her that. Even with her decaying body, with all its hurts and wounds, she found masks to cover herself and the strength not to hurt, and she kept plowing on. She found masks to cover herself, strength not to hurt. I don't understand what she's saying with that. Tell me something about the changing god. Brilliant, charming, ruthlessly self-centered. More blood on his hands than I'll ever have. Legend says he wiped out the Tabath, a nearly complete genocide. He left one alive as an object lesson, one of their generals enslaved in the city to teach his enemies not to cross him. How many cast-offs are they? Matkina shrugs. Hundreds? Who knows? Supposedly the changing god went to other worlds, bent time and space, slipped through dimensions, and he always had his spare bodies with him. There could be thousands, millions for all I know. Right. So, a lot. Anything new? Tell me more about this place. This is the Cave of the Last Words. It was a thieves' hole until the tunnel leading in collapsed. 500-600 years ago, it was where the scum of the city would slip away from the city guard. Before there were levies, before the slave families, the truly desperate lawbreakers fled here when they had no other option. That's the suicide tunnel. She points. The words on the cave walls, those are the final words of people with nothing left to lose, etched into the bedrock of the city, burned in and burned out by the hopeless. A fitting metaphor. She looks at you appraisingly. If you question the worth of your life, these terminal thoughts are instructive. For a long time they helped me hang on. And then there's the ledge at the end of the tunnel, just in case those words are inspirational. Her crooked grin resurfaces. The view is also quite nice. How did you find this place? I listened to the stories of old thieves. I went to the Bloom and listened to the stories of Chila. I made friends with the Stitcher and I asked them if they knew about a place like this. Turns out they did. Would you travel with me? Too many with you already. Don't want to join the Managerie. Maybe after you drop them off. So yes, yes she would. Um, technically she would be a Jack, the cold-hearted Jack. So a replacement for Tyve here. I don't see too much value in two Jacks, and she's not. She's somewhat of an interesting person, I suppose, also because she's a castoff. At the same time, I'm not sure how she would react to any kind of upcoming situations. She might not want the same things for the castoffs as I do. That might be a source of conflict. So I would not replace anyone in favor of her. So farewell. Everyone leveled up. So, and I got my tier 2. What the fuck is that? The experience showed. I suppose I got so much experience it showed us this art symbols. Increase that pool. Give me intellect. Use more intellect points. We can delay sleeping again. Deal maker. More shins earned. Everything costs less. You get more money. This is the worst thing ever. You and your allies within short range gain inspired at all times. 5% evasion, 5% willpower, 5% on all tasks. This is a wonderful thing. Why on earth would you choose more money? Ooh, choose 2 out of 9. Okay, I think some of these are old abilities. The quantum step at the very least. So you can choose the earlier tier abilities too. I don't know if I want that. Energize is something she didn't have. Esoteric. Choose a damage type. All damage dealt is converted to the chosen type. This could be very useful. The Abikas, the creatures were very vulnerable to transdimensional damage. With this, we could have everyone do transdimensional damage. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a good thing, but I'm not sure if that's what we want. I need one of these 3 spells though. I have to have a new tier of a spell. I would be more leaning toward damage, direct damage. I don't think Calistich on her own or me on my own is necessarily that nice. But if we have 2 mages casting area of effect damage, that could turn out to be a huge amount of damage. So that might actually kill people. So that could work fairly well. What are the others? +1 intellect pool, +1 armor, mind barrier. Your mind is an impenetrable tower of iron will, a fortress few can breach. I wonder if this has actual other effects. I mean, besides the stat increases. Would I be more resistant to mind effects? Because +1 armor doesn't exactly say that you're resistant to someone reading your thoughts, for example. I'm not particularly interested in these stats, but I would be interested if this could actually protect my will. It seems like that's usually status effect type of things are usually the worst possible thing once you get a few levels. Status Sphere Link. +1 in lore machinery, lore mystical, and lore natural. I'm actually interested in this because you get like 1 skill up per tier. With this we would get 3, just taking this 1 skill. +15% accuracy on esoteric attacks. But I can't take a spell and both of these. I think I'll take the skills and the flash. Lore machinery, lore mystical, lore natural. Mystical is as good as it gets. I think. Is there something above specialized? I don't think so. Right. So yeah, I would take more perception if I can nerf base skills. The lower skills are nice, but perception allows you to notice options and reactions you otherwise might miss. Actual conversation options. Right. You, Calistheges. Ability or skill? Don't give two shits about these. Cipher use might be nice. Ability maybe. Flash. I wonder what it does. Does it? I'd like to know what the fuck the skill increases do here. Like automatically see what they do. I don't think they increase damage. Effort increases damage. They probably, yeah. You can see what the novice level gives you, but does that mean that the trained level and specialized level only give accuracy increase to the spell, or do they increase the? Do they change the skill somehow? I actually I'm thinking of cheating in the way I'm looking at through these skills to see if they improve. In what way do they improve? But I don't think I'll do that. I'll make mistakes. I'm fine with that. I want to avoid the situation where train plus 15% on attacks. Apparently nothing else. At least on the train. You can only summon transdimensional energies for her attack. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in the accuracy increase. You might as well just increase intelligence at that point. You get 20% accuracy with that. Increased edge, intelligence. Maybe stats pools? Yeah, Knight isn't actually that much. Increased edge. Ability or skill? Spell swoop. I suppose more accuracy. This wasn't exactly that great of a skill, so I don't give two shits about that. Maybe skills? No, they're non-combat skills. Endurance would be 5 points extra life? More initiative might be nice, or smashing, but I don't care that much. What's our stat? Ooh, we could use more might. Right, we'll go with stats pools.